Hello and welcome to a quick March update. The various projects that I'm currently involved in: 1. March Mystery Madness. 2. Reading 24 banned books in 2024. 3. An upcoming episode about Can You Read Too Much? And 4. Fox Sisters, Hoax or Holy Grail, which will be episode number 2 in my series. So first of all, March Mystery Madness is something that I just found out about, actually a few weeks ago, but it's new to me, and I learned about that on the Bookish Bryants. From them, I found Remembered Reads, hosted by Jen. I'll leave links to their channels down below. Please be sure to check them out, and you can learn more about what March Mystery Madness is and the various books that count for that. What I'm planning to read, and this worked out perfectly, are two of my recent finds at my thrift store. So you would have seen those if you've seen my thrift store book hauls. The first was Patricia Cornwell, and this is the Scarpetta collection. I'll likely just be reading book number 1 from this, as that's over 300 pages long. The other author that I wanted to check out, and these are both new to me authors, is Kathy Reichs, The Bone Code, and I talked about this in my book haul, so I'll be reading this as well. And what I'll be doing in an upcoming video is talking about the difference between these two authors. Kathy Reichs is the author whose books inspired the series Bones, and of course the character Temperance Brennan. And it's a series that I watch, so I'm curious to see how that plays out in book format with the writing versus TV. And as these are both authors who write about forensic science and crime, I'm curious to see how they both present that as well. The other book that I will be starting for March Mystery Madness, and this is the first book I actually considered when I learned about this, is my Sherlock Holmes collection. These two books have been waiting for over 15 years, ever so patiently on my shelves. Typically, I don't read a lot of mystery, so that's part of why they've been waiting. I know I won't end up finishing the series in March, but I'm certainly looking forward to beginning the series. I've seen a number of Sherlock Holmes movies. I've enjoyed the various actors who have played Sherlock Holmes and Watson. So I'm curious to see again how my experience, having watched it as movies, compares to my experience of reading those stories in book format. So that's one of the updates. The other banned books, that project was started by MJ. I'll leave a link to her channel down below, and that's hashtag 24BB, lowercase. I've managed to finish 6 of the 24 books so far. They were 1984, and I'll be doing a video comparing 1984 to 2024 for a summary, and I've mentioned this in other videos as well. Check out Books, Songs, and Other Magic, where Gareth does an amazing review and summary of that book. I also read Marked, Go Ask Alice, Looking for Alaska, Lord of the Flies, and Of Mice and Men. The next book that I have planned to read is The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm holding off on that until April, partly because I have a number of books to already read in March, and 2, I will be doing that as a buddy read with 2 other people. So I'm looking forward to that, as that will be a new experience as well. An upcoming video that I will be doing is answering the question, can you read too much? This came up after I was watching a video on another bibliophile, and he was responding to another content creator, Spread Book Joy, who had also done that video and talking about her thoughts regarding reading and how much may or may not be too much. I'll leave links to their channels down below so you can watch their videos and take on the response to that question. I've also been thinking a lot about it because recently the Crafting Bookworm subscribed to me, and thank you to her and YouTube for recommending my video to her. She's been a YouTuber for 10 years, and we've been having a discussion in her comment section about reading and other activities. I'll leave a link to her channel down below as well. Be sure to check all of these channels that I've mentioned out. Myself, if you've been watching my channel for a little while, and I know some of you have, so thank you so much. Along with reading, you know that I also spend my time doing nature photography, gardening, just sitting outside enjoying my yard. I have my silly fur babies that you sometimes see in videos, and I have updates every Friday about the various antics they've been into, as well as memories of some who are no longer with us. So for myself, there's a variety of activities along with reading, and I'll talk more about that in an upcoming video. The last update is about my Hoax and Holy Grail series. The episode I'm currently working on has to do with the Fox sisters, and yes, there are 3, not 2, and I will explain that. I ended up having to start another booklet to track. I've shown this in one of my other videos. This is my Hoax or Holy Grail: planning, resources, ideas, and the actions. And I've had to label this book 1 because, as it turns out, I have a number of different topics that I want to cover. So this is my book 2, and the first in this is the Fox sisters. In order to start pulling all my information together, I have here that all my resources, I'll have those listed, and I've referred to 3 articles and 5 different books to gather my information about the sisters, various opinions that people had, and of course I always will leave these topics up to the viewer to make their decision. And I would certainly hope that if the topics I present are of interest to you, then you continue to research. That is where I'm at with my various projects at the moment. I have to say I've been itching to get outside and try and do some yard work. For a while we had some mild weather. It's hard to believe that it's early March here in southwestern Ontario, as we've had a bit of mild weather. We've had very little snow until this past weekend, so there's now snow on the ground, which reminds me it's way too early to get outdoors and start doing some yard work. So that means I have plenty of time to continue delving into the various books and projects that I have going on. Now that I have all my notes from the various books and articles, my next step is going to be to make comparisons because one thing that I did find shocking, and if you've seen some of my earlier videos, no, I am not a fan of Wikipedia as research. But as the Fox sisters have taught me, Wikipedia actually, in this case, is more accurate than the information that I found in Ghost Hunters by Deborah Blum. That brings up the important point that although a name may appear on the book as the author, they are not always the individual who does the research and information gathering. I'm always a bit shocked when I read the acknowledgments, and I think at this point there's one, maybe two out of the hundreds of books that I've read who actually give credit to the people who have done the research for them. So in this case, I'm not sure whether it was Deborah Blum herself who didn't get things accurate, or whether it was a researcher she paid, or how that happened. But her information, and I'll talk more about that in the episode, definitely varies from information with the other sources. The next step, of course, is to look at all 8 of those resources. I have all my notes and my highlighting pulled together, so now I need to put all that information beside each other and start pulling out where there are agreements, where there are discrepancies, where some relevant information has been missed or just omitted. Pulling that together will take me about a day. The next step, of course, will be then to put it into either Google Slides or PowerPoint presentations and do the final tweaks and editing, and hopefully it will be up this week if all goes smoothly. But as I well know, life is what happens when you make plans. So fingers crossed that it is up this week. We'll see how that goes. Remember to check out the channels I've mentioned, as they all have great content, wonderful book reviews, and a variety of information. I've put links to their channels in the description box down below. And until next time, happy reading, and be sure to take good care of yourself.